Good day, channel subscribers. So we're playing a Genshin Impact personality quiz. It's going to take us 17 minutes, but it's going to be really, really worthwhile. But before we get into it, here is my latest social media account I created. You guys can follow me if you want, and let me know in the comments who you guys are so that I can follow you back on Twitter. If you're bored, at 1742 is the results of this personality quiz, but let's just sort of jump into it. This is called the extremely extensive Genshin Impact Kin Quiz. And yes, there are 75 questions we need to answer to sort of determine our personality. And basically, from that, the sort of quiz makers will map us to a given Genshin Impact character. So, this is extremely extensive as it sort of is. But as you guys can see, the first couple of questions are all just some icebreaker questions, in my opinion. Not really worth it, like your favorite Hogwarts house. I mean, obviously Ravenclaw, let's go. But yes, at the end of this, we will find out. Am I a Klee in disguise? Am I a Eula? Am I actually Kokomi? That would be so cool to see what our sort of personality would be. And just a reminder again, if you don't want to sit through the full 17 minutes and get to know me better, you're welcome to skip. So here's the big first part, what is my sexuality? So for those of you who want to get to know me better, absolutely 100% straight and white, so bit of a scum of society, but that's just sort of how it is. Relationship with father, kind of alright. With mother is actually great, they are divorced parents, so that's just kind of rough. You're in a room when someone when someone with danger strikes. How do you feel? So how do you guys feel when someone sort of like attacks you and so on? You will see that yeah, I've got a desire to protect those around me. How do I suppress pain and so on? I do suppress physical pain, but not really emotional. Oh, by the way, yes, I am playing this on mobile. I forgot to mention that. You can see this little recording sign there right at the top. How do I sort of want love? Basically, I want to receive it physically, but how do I give it? Basically, through sort of serving others as how they want. These are sorts of very interesting questions that they give us. How do you react to being embarrassed? I just get really, really quiet and just disappear. That's just sort of how it is. How do I react to someone giving me a spontaneous hug? Well, normally if someone does that, I'd give them sort of like a sort of like a soft hug. You can just like give like a shoulder type hug. But it depends on the person and so on. Regrets, yes, I do sort of have regrets and so on. But yeah, they're not. I generally don't live in the past. I'm generally just like forward looking. The person I find the most annoying, Ito Arataki, the loudest, brashest people. I cannot stand loud people. They're really, really irritating to me. So yes, the loud, brash person. I'm just gonna click him. Really, really hate them. What insult would hurt the most to be called? Ooh. There's one thing that I really, really do not like is if someone tells me I'm unreliable, or if I don't know what I'm doing. Those are the sort of things that I really don't like. Anything else is just like, sticks and stones. No one really cares. Which affirmation would make me feel the most loved? Ooh. Hopefully, let's see if you guys can guess this one. Hint, solo no damage runs in the spiral abyss should sort of give you a bit of a clue. And yes, that is it. You can do anything you set your mind to. That's generally what I try to do. Oh, my favorite little pet. Obviously, since we like the Dragon Queen herself, we cannot pick any cats or iguanas or turtles or dogs or all of these other pieces of nonsense. We want the bearded dragons. In Kokomi's case, I don't think she is a bearded dragon. She's just a sort of cute sleeping dragon. But yes, I would like the sort of dragon that loves to cuddle and just sort of lays around. Kind of dumb, yes, definitely, as in the type of animal. Favorite color, for those of you that saw my Yellen video, would be light purple, that blue purple sort of color. I really, really like it. It's pretty cool. So in this case, it would be a mix between purple and blue, but I would ultimately choose blue since I've forever chosen blue. Obviously, you just got to read the description there as well. What are you like when you are sick? Well, I just sort of tend to keep to myself, just say, don't bother me and so on. By the way, the reason I'm taking some time here is because whilst I was filling out this quiz, I was actually reading through all of it, so I wanted to sort of get my instantaneous reaction. So what you guys see here is almost like my immediate like reaction. This isn't something where I like took my time to think about it. For instance, in this case, like which sort of like stance, like moral alignment you've got. I just sort of said, well, I'm lawfully good, because I do think the lawfulness is what makes it kind of important, and so on. Does this affect the results? It's sort of set there at the bottom, so I don't think this really does, but it was just there. What do you do when you are insulted? Well, I think you guys sort of know my opinion. Most of the time, I actually ignore people. To be honest, I really don't really care. Like I explained earlier, it's just sticks and stones. No one really does care. I don't really care what people think. How do I feel when I'm angry? Ooh, this is going to be quite an interesting one. Yeah, this is just that small intense, just like a bit of a burning sensation, then it like quickly dissipates, and so on. Alright, yeah, this is the thing about how do we feel about fear. For me, this would be slightly sharp bursts of intense panic. I think that is a very, very good description. How do you feel sadness? For me, that would definitely be like more like a numbness. That's how I've always associated sadness with. I don't feel like deep wounds or stuff like that. Just that general numbness. How do you feel happiness? I try not to, whenever I'm on the channel and so on, I try not to be like too like overly dramatic and so on, but I do think for those of you that have followed along a long time, you will definitely see that giddiness of a child, especially like when I saw the Yellen and Kokomi trailers and stuff. If you look back at his videos, you'll sort of see it going around. I absolutely, whilst I'm recording this voiceover, I absolutely missed this question, so whatever passed me put here, I'm just going to click it. You can see there's quite a lot to read through. So when you do this quiz, it's the word extensive does it quite justice. Yes, I think what I've said there was like awesome. Which feeling do you hate the most? Absolutely frustration. I cannot stand it being frustrated with something. Hunger is fine, being bored is fine because I just make up stories in my head, sadness, stress, but just being frustrated, I just can't take it. Which of these scenarios has the best vibe? Ooh, there's lots of cool ones here. Obviously for me, the one mostly like at the top would be the best one. Just something, quiet and just meditative, I think is the best. I'm not someone that likes partying and so on, so I do think the one at the top's the best. My dream room. This one is quite an interesting question. It's not one that I've actually heard of like before when people ask personality stuff. But yeah, I think the answer will surprise a lot of people with what I feel, what I like. So is it all the technology? Is it all the books and stuff? Is it like Kokomi, all the books? Do I have different activities? What do you guys think? A room full of cute things. That's absolutely what we love. What's the biggest deal breaker in a friend or a partner? For me, it's absolutely people that lie constantly, because there's no consistency in the relationship. Everything else you can work around, because if someone insults you, at least you know where you're standing. But if someone like sort of lies to you, if you don't know where you stand with someone, it's like no points to it. Here's about another morality question. For me, the lines are always slightly blurred. They can never not be slightly blurred, and that's just mostly because of the social construct and all these things behind it, but that's a separate topic. Yes, we are definitely more of a Watson, more independent and confident. How important is honesty? Extremely important. I'll honestly, like I said earlier, honesty for me is all about that consistency. For me, it really only becomes an issue when someone's livelihood is at stake. So, but other than that, it's pretty much non-negotiable. How much of yourself do you oops, I completely missed what I read today. Oh, how much I share about myself to others? Basically nothing. I mean, I think you guys also know I don't share my country of origin. I don't really share too much, apart from just being like a bit entertaining and so on, but generally you would not really know that much in reality about me. And whilst I was saying that, I completely misread this question as well. What would my childhood self think? They'd be confused because who I was as a child was just completely religious, and now I'm completely not. So yeah, here you can see here, this is just a bit more like activities and so on. How do I see humanity? Honestly, very neutral. I think there are fantastic, wonderful people. I think there are a bunch of asses out there as well. So yeah, am I judgmental? Yes, especially for work idiotic people in the comment section. You guys know, obviously, we do pass the judgment hammer down sometimes. What would I do for creativity? See if you guys can guess this one. I think a lot of people might say, well, prefer logical activities, and you would be wrong. For me, stuff like writing is actually kind of awesome. How comfortable are you with being alone? Extremely. Like, I can be for days on my own. What is the best period of a person's life? For me, it's young adult. Like, before that, you don't have the freedom. After that, you've got like an ocean of choices. So, yeah. What kind of kid were you? Honestly, I was the kid who played imaginary games all day. That is very, very characteristic. I've got such an extreme imagination. It's really frightening even to myself sometimes. And whilst I was saying that, I completely missed this question, but it was something here about, I don't know, something about a relationship or something. I don't know. Let's just see what I picked. Oh, what's my attachment style? Oh, okay. For me, I think this one was like one of the hardest ones to sort of answer because it's like way more nuanced than I think what these questions actually captured and so on. So I thought that secure would be like the best one. How do we handle conflict? Ooh, this really is also one of those difficult ones because it depends on who we are with. But if it's someone that I don't know, I will generally be like slowly. I want to sort of like think about stuff. How much does money mean to me? Honestly, right there at the top, because without it, there's so many opportunities that just like closed off. Like you can't really realistically in today's life world like live without money properly. What is my learning style and so on? Definitely tactile. I like figuring things out. I never read manuals unless I'm frustrated, then I'll read them. Watch my style on an average day, absolutely comfiness, kokumi pajamas, that sort of thing, if you can think about it. Favorite types of food and so on. Let's just see, definitely a kind of meat, just some kind of meat. It can be anything, chicken, beef, and so on. My least favorite type of food would be anything really, really foreign, like crickets or like snakes, or like there's some weird things that people eat. I just don't like it. How do you want people to see me? I definitely think that capability, just being capable, I think is for me is good enough. How strict are my morals? They would be very moderate. I do think there needs to be some boundaries, but some boundaries will obviously be like sort of blurred and so on. In a large group of people you don't know well and are assigned to form some of group work, how would you act? This again depends on my position of authority, but I do think the one that I gave there as an answer is like the best one. But if it's in front of like students or at university, way back when I would take charge, but these days I would just be sort of like I would just sort of wait and sort of just sort of look out. Yeah, we're missing questions because I was just like reading so fast when I did all these things. Oh yeah, we want to sort of talk to people. Oh wait, let me just sort of see again. We just scroll up. Okay, we didn't scroll up. All right, so what do you do when you are sad? For me, I would just isolate myself because why not? That is sort of the style that I take. And then obviously, I'm not really that desperate for cuddles and hugs. I do think that can be a bit silly. There we go. Place to break down in private. I think that's definitely awesome. That's also, yeah. I think that and isolating is definitely the two places. And here is how I would sit. This was a very confusing question to me, so I was just like sitting like a proper lady, even though I'm not not a proper lady. Yes. When do you most feel like when you're with yourself? Obviously, when alone. I mean, that's just the. What do you read? What do I need right now? Honestly, for me, the to be accepted would be like the one of the best answer. But I think there's a lot of those. There's some overlap on some of those. Definitely not money, because we well in Genshin Impact, so we're a loser in that regard. But yes, yeah. Or a hug. A hug is also nice. I also really like hugs. How much have you changed since you were a kid? I think that one pretty much completely, except for a few key values. So yeah, definitely that. What is success? I think honestly, it's being able to solve the problems that you want to be able to solve and knowing peace. It is definitely defining things by your own standard, not by other people's standards. So, yeah, I chose that one right there in the middle. As you can see, I'm just sort of scrolling up and down just to make sure I haven't read like or missed anything and so on. There's a lot of these things were like based on like my initial reactions. It's quite interesting to sort of review it and so on. Which scenario brings you the most peace? Waking up to my partner and kids. I don't have kids, so nope, can't do that. Sitting down on a mountaintop, painting the sunset. That sounds so albedo-like. So that is definitely something I would consider. But yes, sitting under a tree on a windy day, being at peace with myself and the universe. Done that quite a lot personally. So that is the one I'll choose. What is music to me? It's all about the storytelling. It's completely it's imaginative. Music and imagination like goes together. How empathetic TM are you? um, Somewhat. Yes, again, it does depend. How do I feel about authority? For me, you need authority, you need structure. It's like that game Stanley's Parable, where the guy's like, what happens if I just take away all the rules? So yeah, you need that authority. How open-minded am I? Somewhat, just somewhat, not too open-minded, but yeah, somewhat. How long does it take you to say goodbye to someone you care about once you realize they are being toxic to you? It'll take a little bit. I mean, I often give people the benefit of a doubt a couple of times before we actually sort of, have to let them go. And yes, that has happened quite a lot where I just had to sort of say, well, you know what, enough's enough. So yeah, that's definitely it. As an adult, yep, definitely. How expressional are you? I would honestly say in social settings, this depends. On my own, very, but in social setting, almost none, and so on. Do you care what people think about you and how much? No, it depends. If it's like constructive criticism and so on, it's worthwhile because we can build on it, but otherwise, not really. Oh yeah, this is actually like the question: how do you take criticism? Criticism, as long as it's constructive, you can say whatever you want, and so on. How easily do we forgive? Like I said earlier, there you trust, you give benefit of a doubt, but at a point you start drawing the lines and you make it clearer and clearer. And that is it. Wow. Whew. Obviously, we're going to give him Fate Apocrypha. It's a very nice song. I like it. But yeah, that is all the questions and all the things you need to know about me. Some of these questions hitting deeper than others. Some of them are a bit, in my opinion, kind of scratching the surface, a bit situational and so on. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of character we are mapped to. We've got all the characters all the way up until Kamisato Ayato in this quiz, so it'll be interesting. I think if I remember correctly, hey, you guys saw there Kokomi. Yes, I just blurred some of the ads here for you guys, as you can see, because some sassy ads. And yes, we are San Gonomiya Kokomi, and I was not surprised when I saw this. I think the reason is because I relate so much to Kokomi. That is why I think I like her so much as a character, her playstyle. That's why I'm probably so crazy about her. There's a saying, like attracts like, and that's in my personal experience is also true. Opposites don't attract, but likes attracts like, and a lot of myself I actually do see in Kokomi, and no wonder, this channel is Kokomi Clan and so on, because she is literally like a mirror reflection of myself. So that's why I like Kokomi so much. And yeah, guys, if you made it to this far, thanks for watching.